you, Kira, for the introduction. And hello, everyone. Nice to be here. So what happens to people and their well-being when a natural disaster suddenly strikes a whole community? So let's start by looking at the community, and that is Grindavík. And this is the location of Grindavík in the Reykjanes Peninsula, very close to the international airport. And in December 23, about 3,700 people lived there. Fishing industry and tourism were the main industries. We started to see seismic activities in 2021, a lot of powerful earthquakes, and finally an eruption in 21 and onwards. This is a map showing the seismic activities. The earthquakes are in circles and the lava is in purple. So you can imagine what it was like to be there, or you can't really imagine, but you can try. Grindavík, like the video said, was evacuated in November 2023. And that was after the Department of Civil Protection and Emergency Management stated a level of emergency. So everyone was asked to leave. And then there was a powerful volcanic eruption a month later in December. That was the closest to the town, only 3 kilometers away. And that is what it looked like. You see how close it is to the community. And during the seismic activity between 2023 and 2024, a total loss occurred to 74 houses in town, and a lot more were damaged. So, the people of Grindavík experienced a sudden and major impact of this natural disaster on every aspect of their daily lives. And here's a version of the Dahlgren Whitehead rainbow adapted to Icelandic context. And as you know, it's showing the main determinants of health. And let's take a look at which elements were affected by the events in Grindavík. The people of Grindavík lost their homes with hardly any warning, sometimes their jobs as well, because they were located there, and thus their income. The kids lost their schools, kindergarten. They couldn't go to their usual health centers, not their church, not their community center. Facilities for sports activities were no longer for them. They lost the proximity to their friends and simply their community, which I think is a big part of their identity. They lost their sense of belonging and their daily routine. No one knew in the beginning for how long this would last, whether this was temporary or permanent, and they still don't know because seismic activities are still ongoing. The Directorate of Health publishes annual public health indicators by geographic regions, and their aim is to provide a profile of health, well-being, health behavior, and demography, and that is to support local actions in health-promoting communities. And obviously, we use the public health indicators in this crisis, but we needed more and more frequent monitoring. And for that purpose, we have used our national real-time health registers. The data presented in this figure is from the Register of Contacts with Primary Healthcare, and it shows the number of individuals receiving diagnosis of anxiety. And here we are comparing the inhabitants, or the people of Grindavík, in orange, and this is the group of people that lived in Grindavík in November 2023, and this is the number of diagnoses per 1,000 population, and we are comparing that to the rest of the country, the blue line. And you see how the trend is. The people of Grindavík had lower prevalence prior to these events, and now are higher. And we used a lot of other registers as well, and we try to share with this information and similar information with local actors to support their work. But we have other examples as well. a big or a massive avalanche struck Flateyri, a small fishing village in the West Fjords in 1995. And a study showed that nearly 1/5 of the survivors experienced symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder 16 years after the incident. And you see the predictive factors there, lack of social support and financial difficulties. And also when it comes to children, if you take a look at them specifically, it's also the lack of social support and also trauma-related responses from caregivers. So it's very important to strengthen the support system for survivors of events like that and place an emphasis on survivors with children. So the emergency phase only lasts a while the danger is immediate and severe. What happens after that is of utmost importance. There is a critical need for long-term responses, planning and action, and continuous and ongoing monitoring and follow-up. Former residents of Grindavík, now dispersed more or less across the country, are still experiencing higher levels of anxiety than the national average, and we need to take the lessons from Flateyri and make sure to support those who need, and especially those with children. Thank you.